Yobos! This is We to Play, the print and brushworks of YouTube, and I'm here to talk more about Pokemon wins and Pokemon waves, because I don't think I got really any actual thoughts out. Most of the time I was just gawking at all of this. Now, there have been a couple of things that I have quote-unquote learned about, at least indirectly, from other people's thoughts and feelings. The first thing I want to say is, to me, the graphics look gorgeous. But I was scared to say anything about that because I thought the same thing about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. It's like the textures of the Pokemon by themselves, just seeing the sheen on Magnemite was such a joy to me. It's like, oh, this is such a big deal. By the way, yes, I know about the starters. We'll see how much more I learned about later on. We've got Bront, another grass bird. Pombon, everyone's most favorite, and the one I want, Gekwa. I'm not gonna get it because I had made a remainingly foolish choice to let my brothers decide which starter and legendary I would go for. I probably have to deal with that one too, picking which boxed version game I get. Because I tried to make it so it's not even in my hands, because I wanted to learn as little of the games as possible. Let me explain this for a moment. I've mentioned this time after time again, but I can't stress enough how much I enjoyed Scarlet and Violet, but what I didn't enjoy was learning all these other things about Scarlet and Violet that I didn't need to know from other people. Specifically, Petravunt. I knew about Petravunt by the time the first of the DLC for Scarlet and Violet came out. That wasn't even part of the original DLC. That was a separate gift that was downloaded later on for the last mythical Pokemon. But I knew about way too far ahead of time, and I was not happy about that. Anyways, getting back to basics, it is weird to me, in a sense, that we're going to another tropical location. I almost said Unova. Alola was the first tropical location in Pokemon, based off of Hawaii. And what I can't seem to grasp is where in the world this is based off of. Is it not based off of anything? Because, previous games, there was no specific location once we got done with Kanto and Johto. Hoenn and Sinnoh are kinda their own locations. I don't think they're based on any real world locations. You can correct me if I'm wrong there, but that's my belief. Another belief I have, especially when I was looking at the character models, they remind me so much of new Pokemon Snap. I am not kidding about this. That was the first thought. Look at these faces. Look at these faces. They look like they would be in new Pokemon Snap. Maybe it's a little bit less of the texture, but this game looks so good. But I mean, I am afraid that we're gonna go down this same route again, where yes, the game looks good. Does it play good? Does the graphics hold up? One thing that I guess I just learned today is the shadows still kind of look like they don't look exactly like shadows. The textures don't exactly work. There's still like pixels in there. If Game Freak is gonna hold back until another year from now to release the game, I really hope they can smooth out the shadows. Everything else for the game is fine. I'm sure IGN will complain about the water again, jokes. But I do wonder how much the underwater tease here is going to play a role. Are there going to be different locations that you can only access depending on if you pick Pokemon Winds or Pokemon Waves? That would suck if that's the case. But we'll have to see. It might kind of remind me of, even though they took... No. I'm gonna go with this. It would remind me of Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, or Pokemon Gold and Silver, where Lugia and Ho-Oh were in different locations. I love that they keep showing 3 random thumbnails based on what I like every time it repeats itself. I'm trying to get all my thoughts out without writing down the script, which is so hard to do, but I'm hoping that replaying this video over and over again just kind of refreshes my memory. So that's most of the stuff I wanted to mention. People are noting that both the male and the female have these sort of boards that are connected to their backpack. Could that be traversal? Very likely. It very likely could be traversal. But this is the kind of thing I'm talking about. It's like, I didn't need to know that. Yes, I don't look over the video like I'm doing usually. I just let it play out once and then just take it all in and then just upload the entire thing. But it's like the more I look at the video, it's like the more I'm noticing these types of things. Are they negative? Not necessarily. But they are things that I'm noting. And like I said, I want to go into these games blind. Some of the experiences I had with like Pokemon Sun, Scarlet and Violet, and probably Sword and Shield in some way, I can't remember exactly what was spoiled there. It's like, I want to go into a Pokemon game hardly knowing anything about it. It's bad enough I already know what the graphics look like. It's worse, I know what the starters are. And, it's gonna be equally bad when I end up running into the 2-box legendaries for the game. But I want to go into this not knowing that much. That is such a hard ass. It's such a hard thing for me to actually try to pull off. But I still want to try, because I want to just have that feeling of being able to go into a game and just take it in. Just be excited. Not know some of these things ahead of time. Not be able to predict who the evil team is. That type of stuff. Also, I just want to note this now while I'm thinking about it. There are a lot of varied locations in this game. Like I wasn't thinking about with Scarlet and Violet. But we have a lava area, we're gonna have some undersea areas probably. There are some good variations of these courses. The swamplands, there's just... I'm excited, but I'm also kind of worried. And I'm sure you caught on to that in my short. Shout outs to all the people that watched that short, thank you. I wasn't getting enough people to watch the video where the short came from, where I was reacting to the Pokemon Direct. So I appreciate that people actually went and watched those shorts. I need to make more shorts. I'll talk about that one later. It's not important at the moment. Let me go back to the starters. Gekwa is the one that spoke to me. Whether or not I saw it through the stupid holes in my hat first, Gekwa was the one I wanted. But as I started to say, Galaxy Wiz and Coen Bros already picked their starters, and guess which one picked Gekwa? No, it wasn't Ko. He picked Ponbon, which of course he would. Galaxy Wiz picked Gekwa, so I'm stuck with the bird, and I don't know, I'm kind of sad about that, but I'll still go through with it. It reminds me of my first time playing a Pokemon game, and I'm gonna make a video about this at some point, in some way or another, where I was only allowed to pick Bulbasaur. However, the same thing happened with Unova, where I was only allowed to pick Tepig, and I said, no, I'm picking Snivy. As much as I love my shiny Tepig, and this was before I even knew what shiny Tepig looked like, I said, I want Snivy. Snivy is the one that I want to pick. So, community question, do I go behind Galaxy Wiz's back and pick Gekwa? Or do I stick with the grass starter that I can't remember the name of? Ground or something like that. That's not correct. That's not correct. I'm sure that's not correct. It's gonna come up in a moment. I just have this going on loop. Just so I have something with scenery and something where I could just look at everything. Like, I like the textures. I like the textures for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but yeah, no, I'm pretty sure I could say the textures in this game look better. But there's some parts where I'm also just kind of trying to look at it with a critical eye. It's like, is there some things? Look at Pikachu's model here. He goes down on his hind legs, on all fours. So there might be some different models than the ones they keep using from Pokemon X and Y. I will not deny that that was annoying, that they kept using the models from X and Y. That's why I really liked new Pokemon Snap at one point. It was Brout. I just remember there was Brout. Just looking at his face, he looks like a Brout. So, Brout might be the Pokemon I end up with, but Gekwa's definitely the one I wanted. We'll just have to see what happens. Dark Cloud on the right side of the screen. Everyone's pointing that out. Thank goodness I saw it too. We'll just have to see what happens. But I think I got the majority of my thoughts and feelings out in the open about this. I'm excited for Pokemon Winds and Waves, but I would be excited for just about any Pokemon game, honestly. So, that doesn't really say anything about this. I would hope, and this is just a hope, people are probably gonna be a little upset at me, depending on who you ask. I would hope that this releases just before February 27th, 2027. That way it still fits into the Pokemon 30th anniversary. I feel like that could be a thing that could happen. Will it happen? I don't know. The other thing, I want to get Pokemon Winds. Like, I like the idea of soaring through the air more than I do going under the seas. I could do that in Pokemon Sapphire. Will that be the case? I don't know, but I'm probably going to try to fight for it. But at the same time, I don't want to learn what the legendaries are for each of these. I don't want to know the legendary for Pokemon Winds, and I don't want to know the legendary for Pokemon Waves. On a separate account, somewhere on social media, I'm going to list every time I get spoiled by this game. But at the very least, I don't want to see every single advertised regional form or new Pokemon they introduce, or if there is one, and there's probably going to be one, the new gimmick that, I'm gonna just be straight up honest, might have new variations of Pokemon. I'm not confirming anything, but here's the thing. Pokemon X and Y introduced Mega Evolution. We got new forms of Charizard. Pokemon Sun and Moon just introduced Z Crystals, which gives every Pokemon more powerful moves, but there weren't any new forms related to that gimmick. Just regional forms. Pokemon Sword and Shield comes around, and we got Gigantamax Pokemon. So now we have Gigantamax versions of Charizard. I don't know if I'm going to keep using Charizard as a reference. Gigantamax forms of... Oh, I'm trying to think of one of them. Kingler, for example. Then we go to Pokemon Generation 9, Sword and Shield. We have terrestrialized Pokemon, but they're not new forms. I feel we're gonna get another type of new form in Pokemon Winds and Waves. Not regional forms. I'm talking about a new gimmick form. We have Mega Evolutions. We have Gigantamax Pokemon. Those are 2 games apart from each other. From the 5th generation and the 8th no. I think I might have skipped one. 6th generation and the 7th generation. So we're now at the 10th generation. I feel like there will be some new forms, and I would like to not even know what the gimmick is. I know Estelle is kind of done talking about this, but I'm sure I could find other things to talk about. So, the quick versions. Smooth out the shadows. That's one of the bigger blemishes that I see in Pokemon games, let alone how some of the shadows move in real time when it comes to, like, the shadows of buildings. That's jarring to me. But that is my thoughts on Pokemon Winds and Waves. I'm not going to talk about how many people it's going to take to populate the area to make it feel like it's lived in. I could definitely talk about the water, but everyone's doing that. Yes, the water looks better in this game than it does in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Hot take, I know. Thank you for... Thank you for listening to me talk about something everyone else is mentioning. I'm just trying to share my thoughts, and I'm hoping this is the last time I have to talk about Pokemon Winds and Waves before the game comes out. I repeat myself one last final time. I want to go into Winds and Waves not knowing hardly anything. I already know the starters. That was a flub up on me. But I don't want to know the legendaries. I don't want to know any of the other new Pokemon or new forms that are in the game. And I certainly don't want to know about the NPCs. Can I get to a point within next year where when I start Pokemon Winds and Waves, I will hardly know anything at all? We'll just have to see, because it's the 10th generation. Like, 30 years of Pokemon's already crazy, but 10 generations with over 1,000 different species of Pokemon, 1,025 to be exact. And we're still going. The series is still going. If this is the swan song for Pokemon, and it probably is not, I want to experience it like I would as a child, hardly knowing anything about the games. I really want this for myself. Whether or not that happens, we'll just have to see. Until then, and until my next videos, thank you for watching. This has been We to Play, and I hope you enjoy your day. Take care out there, and I'll catch you later. Very good at fading out the music. Bye.